Monmouthshire and Brecon Canal runs for about 36 miles of navigable water, much of it within the Brecon Beacons National Park. The canal was completed in 1812 by the junction of two other canals, that is the Brecknock and Abergavenny and the Monmouthshire Canal, which joined together at Pontymoile, which is a suburb of Pontypool. The Monmouthshire section included Newport and the Crumlin Arm. This is where the so-called Kevin Flight, the 14 locks, are located. The second canal ran to Brecon. In 1962, both canals were abandoned. However, in 1970, restoration work began. The other canal had once run from the Pontymoile basin. However, this was always plagued by a shortage of water, and it was converted to a railway before closure. In 1880, the Great Western Railway purchased the canals. As a result, within 35 years, practically all trade on the canal had ceased. The area is now very quiet, but one time it was a hive of industrial activity. There were numerous horse-drawn plateways carrying coal from mines down to be transported by the canal. The canal also carried such things as lime and agricultural products, as well as iron ore. The canal is relatively narrow. The canal boats, the narrow boats, were hauled by horses, and the towpath is still there, used today by walkers. Canals require a large volume of water, particularly where there are locks present. This is fortunately supplied by the many local streams, this being an area of relatively high rainfall. It's sometimes hard to appreciate just how important the canals were. For instance, in 1796, the canal for coal alone carried 3,500 tons. This had risen by 1809 to 150,000 tons. The coming of the railways brought this all to an end. Sections of the canals were simply abandoned, others were infilled, becoming such things as new roads. Pontymoile was one of the sites where the tolls were paid. The toll house still survives. Further down the canal, near the Avon Llwyd Aqueduct, there's an interesting remnant. This is a section of the Great Western Railway Brunel-style track. This was his own design and was used for the broad gauge. When broad gauge was abandoned, sections of track were used for many purposes, such as for posts for fences and railings and so on. A section of the canal has become a World Heritage Site. Down towards Newport, the Kevin Flight, with its 14 locks, has undergone restoration. There's now a visitor centre and a small museum present there.